It's horse time on Prime Sports. Boy, what's happening to my voice? On Prime Sports Network, as we bring back Jon Hardoon once again. Jon, it's good to have you back again.
It's nice to be back.
Chad, how you doing?
Doing well.
That's a nice.
It's
Very enthusiastic.
Yeah, that's a nice thing for us to be looking at. Your broken down air conditioner.
That's a trainer that's been up since 4 a.m, and we're interfering with his nap time.
Yeah, and
listen, it's all good.
Yeah, so we have once again a Derby prep race that we're going to talk about. This is at Tampa Downs, and that's of course the Tampa Bay Derby. Before we do that, let's wrap up last week's 3 Derby prep races, including the impressive win by Forte in the Fountain of Youth. So how impressive was Forte last week?
Well, I told you he was the horse to beat, but I thought that if you were going to beat him, you had a shot to do it last week. He ran good. You can't take nothing away from him. But the first Saturday in May is still far away, and a lot could happen before that. There's no question he's the favorite at this point.
You agree, Chad?
Yeah, wholeheartedly. I mean, they have the latest Derby future pool coming out this weekend that you can gamble on. It's the first time they have Bob Yachtine horses listed on the wagering, and Forte is the overwhelming 4-1 morning line favorite. Practical Move second choice at 8-1, and then third choice all the way back to 15-1 to Tap It Trice. So it's or I guess Arabian Nights 10-1. But look, Forte, all eyes were on him on Saturday. He was the favorite until somebody beat him. He had the perfect prep race. You could not have drawn up a better race the way that it worked. He worked hard, but not too hard. A lot of confidence rolled by them as soon as Irad Ortiz asked him, and everything continues. The question with Forte, and nobody's talked about this yet, is really just going to be, are there any concerns when he stretches out to 1.25 miles? I think he'll handle the 1.1 miles, but at the end of the day, he's by Violence. Violences have shown that they maybe prefer to go a little bit shorter of a trip. That'll be the one question: is there any
that's
concern?
A big question for the Derby, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, is there a concern? But I mean, he has the right running style. He has the right connections. Obviously, it's a barn that's won this race before twice, the Kentucky Derby. But the thing is, really, for whatever it's worth, I don't know. Todd's had maybe 50 starters in the Derby. He's won 2 of them, which is basically like my win percentage normally. And the thing is, they haven't been the chosen one. They haven't been the favorite. They haven't been the likely one. Always Dreaming kind of didn't even begin his career in the barn of Todd Pletcher. Super Saver was a complete surprise. I think he was the 4th or 5th choice of Todd Pletcher's own horses in the Derby that year. All eyes now are on Forte, and we'll see what moves are next. It sounds like he's going to go to the Florida Derby and then have 5 weeks from Florida Derby to the Kentucky Derby. But all eyes now squarely on the shoulders of Forte.
All right. And what about Rocket Can finishing second, Jon?
Well, he's obviously not as good as Forte, but he certainly belongs. He's improving with each and every start. I think this race was better than the race that he won 2 starts back.
He had single digits last in that one?
I think he ran another 10. The winner ran an 8.
So Forte ran another 8. Okay.
Yeah.
Also last week in the Gotham, we had that sloppy track, and it was a sloppy-looking race with Raise Kane winning. So what do we know about Ben Colebrook?
He was in a cab watching the race on his phone on his way to Kennedy Airport after he saddled the horse because he had to get to Turfway Park. Why anyone would want to go there, I have no idea. But he had a race at Turfway that night. So, I don't know. That's how much he thought he was going to win. He was watching it on the phone.
Wow. So, yeah, one of those long shots, Chad, that we're just never going to hear from again?
No, that's not true. He's an improving horse. He's not so good.
This might be a little bit of a different situation. Look, Ben Colebrook, people forget he was the original trainer for Knicks Go. Won a grade 1 with Knicks Go, actually, as a 2-year-old. He trains at Keeneland year-round. He's a good guy former assistant to Christophe Clement back in the day. Certainly, he's been around horses for a long time. It was a great ride from Jose Lezcano. The seas parted at the right time, and he won, by a margin that I don't think if they ran that race 10 times, he'd win that race by 8 lengths every time. But he certainly didn't do anything wrong. He was second 2 starts back in the Gunrunner Stakes behind Chase's Road. He beat Determined Lead on that day. It's not like he's a horse that has no credentials. Maybe he was a little bit of a surprise on the day. Where he goes next is going to be interesting because the likelihood would be just kind of go into that next step and go to the wood. But he trains at Keeneland, and Ben Colebrook's a homebody, and I think he would very much like to just walk right out of his stall and run in the bluegrass at Keeneland. So they'll see. And look, this is the time of the year now where, and we talked about this on the countdown shows last year, Greg, but this is the time more so than any other time in a trainer's career that you really pay attention to not only your horse, but to everybody else's horses. And, you're competing for these points. You're trying to get enough points to get in the Derby, and you're trying to find the easiest spot for your horse. Maybe not the best distance, maybe not the best track. You're trying to find the easiest spot. And so you're going to see a lot of musical chairs going on over the next few weeks, especially some of these big barns, your Todd Pletchers, your Brad Coxes, your Tim Baffords, that have so many contenders. And, you want to separate them and you want to choose who goes where. So a lot of moving parts right now. It's a lot of fun to be involved in this. We joke about, March Madness and the openness of March Madness, coming up in just a few weeks. Well, this is the openness of Triple Crown season because other than Forte, I do think that everybody else is scrambling to get a spot on the podium. There's some horses, that won the 50-point races that feel like they're comfortably in the race, but they still, a lot of those horses that won, your Classic Angels, your Confidence Games, your Raised Canes, I feel like they still feel like they have a lot to prove. So even though maybe they're assured a spot in the starting gate, they still need to back it up, and they got one more race to do so. So it's a really exciting time of the year right now, I think, for sure.
So and another horse from Violence, right?
Yep. Another Violence.
Another Violence. Okay.
That has to get 1.25 miles.
And then in the San Felipe, Practical Move, no long shots here. Practical Move beat 3 other top contenders, Go Rocket Ride, Skinner, and Hajaji. All 4 of those horses were the top 4 horses in the field, I believe. And Practical Move got the job done. So
that was the only Baffert that was the only Yaktine that wasn't a Baffert. That was all along Yaktine. He's had the horse his whole career.
So. Good for him.
The other ones all ran under Yaktine's name, and that was the only one that was really his, I guess.
All right.
Look, he's a cool horse. We've been a fan of this horse for a long time. In fact, we almost bought him last year at the OBS April sale. We were very, very close. Just thought maybe had a little bit of a turf background, and we always thought he would be better at 3 than he was at 2. So when he won a graded stake race as a 2-year-old, it really kind of caught our eye. Everything kind of broke his way in that sale.
Perfect trip.
The 2 Baffert horses kind of sped away from there and did the dirty work. A great ride, really just a great ride, sitting his time, biding his time, and making that move. And, the thing with this horse is he's going to continue to get better. I think if you're going to be, John, you can speak better than anybody about this. His sheet line certainly goes in the right direction from start 1 to the start of his 3-year-old campaign. I think I saw on Twitter that, what did he get, a 9 on the sheets the other day?
Yeah, 9 or a 10. Let me check.
So, he's going the right direction. His next race, obviously, is the Santa Anita Derby. The question is going to be, and how much say Tim Yaktine has in this or not, Arabian Night is the wild card. 2 for 2 in his career. Sounds as though maybe not go to Arkansas Derby, maybe stay home for the Santa Anita Derby, and then you'd have two heavyweights kind of hooking up over there. And I don't think this would be a John Jones 38-second knockout. It would be a pretty impressive race if Arabian Night were to match up with Practical Move, and that would really show everybody where both horses sit. going into the Kentucky Derby.
He did run a 9, by the way. You were right. So he's never.
He's got a nice line. He does have a very nice line.
Yeah.
What happened to National Treasure? Scratched, right?
Yes.
So
National had a little bit of a foot problem. They don't think it's serious. They think he's going to be okay. The question with National Treasure, though, is where do you go? Obviously, with those connections, the Bob Baffert team, these guys, they want to win Grade 1s. This is going to be a really interesting one because, to me, those people, I'm going to take the road less traveled. I'm going to take the horse to Sunland Park for the Sunland Derby in 2 weeks, where he would be 1-5 favorite. It's a 50-point race, so he would get into the Derby if he wins the race. It's not sexy. It's not a stallion-making race, but it would allow him into the entry into the starting gate for the Derby, as opposed to maybe shipping across the country off a little bit of a layoff now, going to the Louisiana Derby, the Arkansas Derby. I would go to the Sunland Park Derby. They said it's not a major problem. They said it's just a minor thing, that he'll be okay. That would be what I would do, but it'll be interesting to see what the connections choose to do with National Treasure, who, again, I mean, he was my pick in the race. I think he's a horse that does have some ability and some potential, but now you're running out of time. And the thing is that we've noticed year in and year out about the Kentucky Derby is you can't have a straw in your path. Everything needs to break your way. Everything needs to go right. You're allowed a mulligan maybe early on in the year, but now once you enter March, the Ides of March, as Julius Caesar used to say, once you enter March, nothing can go wrong. You can't miss training. You can't run bad. Everything needs to just go right, because a lot of times the winner of the Kentucky Derby is not the best horse.
Really?
I hate to say it.
We saw that last year.
But it's true. It's the one that has the best trip into it, the best trip in the Derby, and just works it all out. To me, that's why the Breeders' Cup was always something that was different. It was more at the end of the year. You earned your way into it. This one, it's very much, you got to get lucky to win the Derby. And, I mean, you have to have the right horse. You have to have, qualify, but you got to get lucky. And everything needs to go right. So if you're National Treasure, okay, you had a foot, you missed this race, you better not have any more issues the rest of the year.
By the way, speaking of mulligans, back at the Gotham, that sloppy track, any of those other horses that, of course, again, we had the long shot win, any of those top contenders in the Gotham that you think we should be giving a mulligan to?
Well, a lot of horses have excuses there because the track was a quagmire. The horse that ran second ran very well. He was left behind. He was 8 lengths behind the last horse, and he came flying. I know he got beat 7 lengths, Slip Mahoney, but he ran very well in running second.
All right. So,
disappointing rag number, though, assigned to him in that race.
Well, was it worse than 15?
The race came up slow.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one only ran a 15.
All right. So that was last week. This week, we only have one Derby prep race. And then, like Chad mentioned, we don't have another one until the Sunland Derby on the 26th. Actually, there's the 100-pointer on the 25th, right? That's the day before the Sunland Derby.
The 25th is going to be Louisiana Derby, and in Dubai, the UAE Derby. So
we got some stakes. We got the Louisiana Derby, the UAE Derby, and so.
And March 25th is also going to mark the return of the Pegasus champion, Art Collector, who will take his talents to New Orleans.
Art Collector.
Running the New Orleans handicap.
All right, let's get the show on the road, boys.
Before we get to our Derby prep race, we're going to start with race number 8 at Tampa Downs. And that's at mile 16th. This is the Michelob Ultra Challenger Stakes, a grade 3 purse, $100,000 for 4-year-olds and up. Trademark. I wanted to start with Trademark at 6-1 because the only thing with Trademark, John, is that, and because I actually was going over this race before I got the odds, and I was like, oh, this is an interesting potential long shot, but I was kind of surprised the horse is 6-1.
Well, if you cover that 1-8 that he ran 2 starts back, what does he really have? Not much. The good news about him is that he is going back on Lasix. He won last time out without Lasix. The horse certainly could make a forward move, and he has the advantage of breaking from the inside, going 2 turns there, which is a big deal. So You know, he has a chance. He's not without a chance. He's not
Yeah,
my top pick
yeah.
in the race, but
And the odds. I don't like the odds. What do you?
To me, Trademark is the one with the highest ceiling that's in the race. We'll talk about some others in the race. They might be more accomplished. They might be better suited for this race on this day. Look, we haven't seen Trademark since last year. He went to the November sale off of that race, and they actually kept him. They RNA'd him for a big, big number. He's a horse that looked like he was going in the right direction. I know maybe just the 1-8, Jonathan, but he was a 3-year-old last year, 3 turning 4. I like that the horse comes into this race off 4 straight, 5 furlong moves. I like that Martin Garcia gives up his day to come down and ride the horse, even though it's not the biggest purse. This is a horse that I'm very interested in this race, specifically to see how Trademark runs, because it's a division right now, that older male division, that's wide open with some of the retirements, and some of the other horses aren't back yet. And really, like what is Zandon's role going to be? Taiba disappointed. Country Grammar runs in Dubai, and then he'll be off for a while. It's just, the horse the other day was terrible. Charge It was as disappointing a horse last week in Florida as you can possibly imagine. Endor certainly did things the right way, but he's not going to be champion older horse. So it's just a wide open division. And while Trademark right now is light on numbers, if he can take a step forward from 3 to 4, he's a horse that can definitely be heard from later on the year in races like the Stephen Foster coming up for sure.
All right, the favorite is the 2, Skippy Longstocking. We saw Skippy Longstocking in the Triple Crown races last year. Didn't really do much there. It wasn't terrible. Then won the West Virginia Derby, won another Grade 3 race at Gulfstream Park, ran a 6 in that race, John. Started this year's campaign with a 12 in a Grade 1 race, again, back at Gulfstream. That wasn't a very good race there for Safi Joseph, Alvarado Ortiz Jr. Is this the horse to beat?
Well, he ran the 12 last time out because of the race that he ran 2 starts back when he ran the 6. He had to react. If you look last year, 7-10, 7-13. Then he ran the 6, which was a top. So, this horse has a license to make a forward move. Problem with him is he's 8-5. But if he won, it would be no surprise. And Safi Joseph is 5 for 14 at Tampa. So keep that in mind also. The trainer's been hot. Ortiz is riding him. Listen, if he won, it would be no shock. Again, he ran the 6, 2 starts back. He reacted last time out, which he was supposed to do. That was, I guess, in the Pegasus or one of those races, right, Chad?
Yeah. Pegasus. Look, Irad returns. Irad was aboard. The only other time he rode him was when he won the Harlan's Holiday 2 back. The thing about this horse that you have to like is Irad, when he rode him, the horse showed a different dimension. He was a front runner, close to the pace.
Yeah,
that's not, he when he ran back last time and his brother rode him in the Pegasus, he was out the back door. I would think the way that this some speed in there, but I think Irad will be aggressive and should work out a really good stalking trip and have every right to make the first move on what is a very quirky track at Tampa Bay Downs. So is 8-5 too low? Probably on an inconsistent horse. But you can certainly see why he's 8-5.
And as far as the couple other top contenders, you have Classic Causeway, another horse we saw at the Triple Crown races last year. This horse has gone back and forth with the turf and back on dirt, but the trainer change to McPeak.
He's had him the last 6 or 7 races.
Yeah.
What's interesting about this horse is he's 2 for 2 at Tampa. He's getting Lasix for the first time.
Yeah, and he ran a 13 and 11, which is that's his average.
Yeah, that's fine. This horse could run a new top. He could run the 10 or better. This horse is fine here, and he absolutely loves this track. He's proven it. He was 2 for 2 here last year, and then the race.
Listen, John, there's a lot to be said about that because this is a track that's a unique track. Horses either really
horses for courses.
They don't like it at all.
This horse is my top pick for that reason, Chad.
Yeah,
because the 2 best races he ever ran at that point in his life were at Tampa.
Did he win this race last year?
Yeah.
No, they didn't have.
Well,
It
Tampa
wasn't.
Derby.
Tampa Derby.
Yeah, it was,
Look,
right.
with
And the
the one
Sam
of the
F. Davis, 2 stake races
Oh,
that
that's
were
right. We haven't
points.
gotten to the Tampa Derby yet. Okay.
yeah, the owner looked like he was out of Beverly Hillbillies.
Right.
That was a very exciting guy. Look, the thing is, I don't know that they're 100% committed to running in this race. They entered to take a look.
Really?
Julian Leparoux going for the day obviously wants to keep them out, but we'll see what happens if he runs. If he does run, I agree with Jonathan. Definitely, even though he's probably better on turf overall, maybe for some reason the Tampa Bay dirt plays like turf. I don't know.
So,
well, to him it does, and he's getting LASIX for the first time. That's got to count for something.
The first time ever. How do you like that? A 4-year-old first time LASIX ever. And Kenny McPeak actually a $3.14 ROI first time LASIX. A very interesting stat.
So why are they potentially going to scratch?
Well, because he's a grass horse.
Okay.
But they wanted to see how the race
He
looked.
became a grass horse. He was 2 for 2 at Tampa until they figured out he's a grass horse.
All right. Okay. The other top contenders, Tax at 4-1. Tax is getting old though. Tax is
finished. He's done. 0 chance.
Yeah, Tax last 3 races, 16, 13, 16.
I don't like him. Chad, I don't think you like him, do you?
If he's ever going to win another race, he's ever going to win another race,
okay.
This is the
4-1.
He's the speed of the speed. He's the fastest horse in the race, and he gets LASIX, which he desperately needs. He can't run without LASIX. I don't know why they continue to attempt to run without LASIX sometimes. He needs LASIX. It's very well known that he needs LASIX. I agree he's 7. He might not be the upper echelon horse, but there's not an upper echelon horse in this race. And if he can dictate terms, if he can dictate terms, then the old man might have one last hurrah in him on Saturday.
Okay, and the other
other horse I wanted to mention there was the 8-horse Business Model. He's getting Louis Saez. This horse was a little interesting to me. If they really go at it up top, you got to find a closer. And along with the 1 who should be sitting a great trip, I think the 8 may come flying to pick up pieces.
Just another one that's inconsistent, though, John. Huh? I mean,
yeah,
you like to see a little bit more consistency from him.
Okay.
I mean, and they've traveled this horse is certainly well traveled. He's like that.
Gulfstream, Fairgrounds, Keelan, Churchill, Ellis Park, Saratoga.
Well, he's the old. What's that hotel commercial? I've been everywhere, man. That's what it kind of feels like with Business Model.
And those are the top contenders, but no long shots worth talking about.
Well, the longest shot that had a chance, I thought, was the 3 Mighty Heart. If you're looking for a 15-1 shot, the race 2 starts back at Tampa on the dirt was very good. This train is 2 for 4 at the meet. He has a win over Tampa. They say horses for courses, and you need a race over the track. It really applies in Tampa. Like Chad was saying, horses either love it or hate it. The race he ran 2 starts back is good.
They ran a 12 in that one, and then 2 starts back on dirt ran an 8. That was all the way back in 2021 at Gulfstream.
No. 2 starts back January 6th.
No, on dirt.
At Tampa. Yeah, on dirt. That race was 2 starts back. The last race was turf. 2 starts back. It wasn't that long ago. It was this year, wasn't it? In January.
No, I'm talking about the December race.
I'm talking about Mighty Heart.
Yes.
We
ran an 8 December of 21.
Oh, okay. That's going. But what was the race 2 starts
on
back?
Dirt? I was saying. Yeah.
On dirt. That's his race 2 starts back on dirt at Tampa.
Oh, I guess I'm saying it a different way. I'm saying 2 starts previous, I should say. That's just the way I was looking at it, because he's got 3 races here on the form on dirt. The 12, like you mentioned, the 18 last April, and then the 8th, the 8 in December of 21. Anyway, so but that was a long time ago, and this is a 6-year-old. Okay, yeah, because this horse ran 2 6s in 2020. That was a long time ago.
Yes.
All right, so the 4. That's the is that the play? The 4?
That looks like at this point, if he stays in the race. If not, it becomes a wide open scrim.
Chad, do you have one you like the best?
Yeah, I like Trademark. Like I said, I'm interested to see where he's at. I think he's going to make an improvement from 3 to 4, and I think you're going to get generous odds to
Okay.
prove so. So I'm going to go with
Good.
Trademark here.
That's what I was saying. I was like 6-1. I don't, but yeah, if you think we're gonna get better than that, that's cool. All right, now we go to the Tampa Bay Derby, and this is gonna go off about 5:15, of course, on Saturday. Another mile on a 16th race, and we have, let's see, the favorite, of course, is Tappa Trice. Now, Tappa Trice has got a really, really good sheet line, John. 17, 13, and 10. And you've got Pletcher, and you have Saez. So shouldn't we be really happy if we can get 8-5 on Tappa Trice?
Well, first of all, you'll probably get less. And second of all, it's not what they did till this point. It's what they're going to do on Saturday. So if you think the horse is going to continue improving, yeah, 8-5 is more than a generous price. But I would take a different stand. I would look at it as a top maybe. Maybe. The horse I'm interested in is the 3-horse, Classic Legacy. He's a little slower, but his last race was at Tampa, and it looks like he's getting better, and he's getting Irad Ortiz for the first time, and Mata's the hottest trainer on the planet, and he's going to be a price. He's going to be longer than the 6-1. Tappa Trice, obviously the horse to beat, but will be a short price. I'm not here to give out 6-5 shots. So. That's just my opinion.
Look, couple of things here. Classic Legacy, first of all, is the baby brother to Art Collector. A lot of people don't know that. So, Art Collector.
Last time, Chad, was his first time around 2 turns.
Correct, and he ran what I thought was a sneaky okay race. The thing that concerned me about and I don't know what you guys think about this, and maybe it's a non-point. This horse, when he broke his maiden 2 back, was 3-5 or 3-10, whatever it was at Aqueduct. Then he ran in the Sam F. Davis to prep for this race, and you would think off of that with those connections, he would take some money, but went off at 10-1 that day in a wide open field where there wasn't really a heavy favorite. I mean, I guess W&L they bet, but it was a wide open race. Is there anything to that when you say, man, they didn't really play the horse last time at all, John?
Usually they don't run when they don't play him. But the truth of the matter is, if you look at the numbers, Chad, he only had 18s going into that race, so he wasn't really fast off the sheets. Last time out, he didn't even win last time with the 14. That's the crazy thing. He ran a new top, 4-point new top. Did have some trouble in the race, but he just looks like a horse that could make a step forward. You know, and again, the 8's the Tappa Trice, the 6 is definitely the horse to beat, but I'm looking for something different.
My concern with Classic Legacy, and really everybody coming out of the Sam F. Davis, which I think there's 4 or 5 horses coming out of that race. That race was so slow and so bad. I mean, Litigate won, but I mean, you watched the race and you didn't get, gooey feelings that any of them were going to come back and win the Kentucky Derby.
No, I don't think the Tappa Trice is going to win the Derby either. I don't think you're going to see the winner this Saturday. I don't think so.
Probably not. Look, the thing with Tappa Trice, first of all, he's a beautiful horse. I'm hoping that he put a little weight on because he's a little supermodel-y. Doesn't carry a ton of condition, which is a surprise for the Pletcher barn where normally they do. He was very good when he broke his maiden against Slip Mahoney 2 back in a race that has since been flattered by both horses. When he ran last time at Gulfstream, he broke slow, circled the field, and just, won at will. We had joked about it, Greg, me and you, when we did the Holy Bull field, and we said, well, this is the best horse running on Holy Bull Day, when it was Tappa Trice running the allowance. He ran to that part. This is the plan for Todd Pletcher to go to the Tampa Bay Derby, to then go to the Bluegrass. The question with this horse is, and Jonathan's been alluding to it all show, you don't know how they're going to take to the track. This horse, in all 3 of his starts, has had trouble breaking out of the gate quickly. He's a very notoriously slow breaker. If he finds himself out of the gate in 11th or 12th place because it's a bigger field than maybe they thought it was going to be.
He's got to circle the field. He's in big trouble.
And he's got to circle the field on a track that you don't know if he's going to like or not like or anything else. Look, again, if you're playing multi-race tickets, if you're playing, yes, obviously, I'm not sitting there saying he has no shot, but he is a horse that you can say, well, maybe this, maybe that, and the horse that interests me the most, and I could be completely crazy here, especially because Todd Pletcher can get any jockey in America to ride for him. He's riding Edgar Zayas, but the stablemate who ran against Tapit Trice last time, whose name I'll butcher because he's the hockey player on the Rangers. He's the one that's the interesting one. I think last time, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but the barn makes a little bit of an equipment change here. They add the blinkers. I just have a feeling that he can run a monster race here and upset the apple cart. However, there is speed signed up in here, so he's not going to get loose on the lead.
And he's
is going to have to ride it.
Blinkers on. He's definitely going to go to the lead.
That's what you would think.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here with Edgar Zayas aboard.
Hey, he's a violence horse.
He's a horse.
Another violence. All we have of violence. This is we should be violence should be sponsoring the show this week.
He's a horse that odds wise you're getting a great discrepancy from the 6-5, 8-5, whatever you're getting on Tapit Trice. And I understand. Look, he was 8 lengths behind him last time. I get it. But the barn felt last time that the difference between the two of them was not 8 lengths worth. So the fact that they run them against each other again here at Tampa, very interesting to me. And I'm going to take a chance that maybe this horse is going to step up his game and run a huge race at a much bigger price than a stablemate.
Well,
by the way, Irad Ortiz gets off of that horse to ride my horse.
Yeah, no, like I said, it was interesting to see that Edgar Zayas ended up on it. I don't know if this was a last-second decision from Pletcher to run him, and at that point, Irad was already committed. Some of the other jockeys that he would ride are out of town.
Maybe
but Jose,
maybe he'll scratch, Jed.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they have every intention of running this horse, and maybe he was a late entry because he's been training and breezing very well. Look, Todd did this last time when he won the prep with Litigate. He said, look, the plan wasn't for Litigate to run the Sam F. Davis, but he was training so well, they put him in there. Maybe that's the case with Suzakian as well.
And the other, there's a couple other contenders. Well, the 6-1 shot Groveland is the 4 horse. He's improved pretty much all 4 races on dirt. A couple of 16s. Last 4 at Tampa, John.
Yeah, he ran second to Litigate. He actually beat Classic Legacy last time out. He finished second. Classic Legacy finished 4th. And they're coming out of the same race, the Sam F. Davis, as are some other horses in the race.
It's like the Sam F. Davis runner-up.
Yeah, exactly. The consolation prize.
What about Groveland, Chad?
Look, he's a horse that Owen Hardy is high on. He's trained for Sheikh Mohammed's Gaddafi stables for a long time. He'd like nothing better than to have another contender for them in the Derby. I just feel like he's had some chances already. He's run 4 times and he hasn't run fast enough for me to make him into a top contender. I prefer others. And the other interesting one that I have no idea what to do with, and that's the horse on the rail, Lord Miles, who takes the blinkers off. When he ran in the Mucho Macho Man 2 starts back, he had like a ridiculous trip. He was in the parking lot. I think he got a really good seat number, John, because of that. He was
13.
in the parking lot turning for home and closed, and Safi was so excited, and I'll never switch places with anybody. They put blinkers on him when he ran back in the Holy Bull, thinking it would help him focus more. He ended up doing just the opposite. Wanted no part of anything, was mid-pack and didn't lift a hoof. They take the blinkers back off. He seems like he's working well for this. Interesting that they don't go back to Edgar Zayas and get a new jockey here, but it's a jockey that'll be aggressive. And with his rail post, you think he'll save some ground. I don't know what to make of him. To me, he's the oddball in here that he can win, and I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know that I can endorse betting on him, John.
Yeah, well, I hear what you're saying. By the way, back to Groveland for 1 second. He has one advantage that most of this field doesn't have. He's He has a home field advantage. Every one of his starts were at Tampa. He lives there all year round, I guess, or whenever they're open, and he trains there. So that's got to count for something.
By the way, one of these horses, Freedom Road, ran an 11, couple of starts back, but then went to Tampa and ran a 15, won the race.
He didn't even win with the 11, that horse.
No. What about with the long shots? What about Champion's Dream, the 10 horse? Because Champion's Dream sheet line was going pretty well. Ran a 14 at Tampa in January, lost by a neck, and then came back the next race and just, I don't know what happened there. So I think we could draw a line through that one. So what about getting Champion's Dream back on the right track?
He got beat 60 lengths last time out, 60. So, and it was a trainer change. This used to be Danny Gargan. It was Mark Cassidy the last two races. The problem with him, I think, is that he's outposted. But I didn't know what to do. I gave him question marks.
I don't know. He wants to go that far, for one. I think he's a grass horse, for two, and for three. My thing on putting lines through races with younger horses, it's very difficult to just right away put a line through a race when they're that bad. Unless you know for sure why they were that bad, it's tough to put a line through it. Maybe something's going the wrong way.
Well, he was 6-1 against Litigate, so
they said, Mark Cassidy said after the race they could not find anything wrong with him, but they didn't have any kind of a valid excuse as to why he ran the way he did. I'm a total wait and see approach here. I won't touch.
Well, again, he's 20-1
with my money or your money.
So he's not a short price. Any other long shots you like then?
I mean, look, the
Lord
only
Miles,
other interesting horse.
One?
Dreaming of Cola or whatever that horse's name is, the Scott Spieth horse.
Yeah, Dreaming of Kona.
Yeah, look, the horse probably can't see out a mile and a 16th. I mean, it's a great story. His wife trains the horse. They own the horse in partnership with friends, whatever. Did you see the workout line on this horse? This horse worked 45 the other day. He worked 57. He worked 45. I mean, you talk about home field advantage. He certainly likes the Tampa Bay track. Unfortunately, the race is a mile and a 16th, but this horse breezes bullets after bullets in the morning time. He's definitely a fast horse, and he's a horse that I might have to purchase after the race on Saturday. I might make an offer to buy this horse if he runs bad on Saturday. He obviously has some ability. I just don't know that maybe his future is going 2 turns. He might just be a really, really fast 1-turn horse, but he's a horse that you have to pay attention to just because of how fast he works in the morning time.
All right, so John, you're going to go with the 3 Classic Legacy.
Yeah, not a strong opinion. I'm just trying to beat, again, Tapper Trice is certainly the horse to beat, but I think the 3 offers some value, and there are positives to find in him.
And Chad, you're going to go with Shesterkin, the 9?
I'm going to go with Todd Pletcher. Todd Pletcher's going to win the race.
Which one? Don't know. Wait to find out. It's a mystery.
And Lord Miles, that's your top long shot, right? The 1?
I just don't know what to make of him. I mean, I want to see. I'd rather give him one more chance than anybody else. Okay.
And then again, just recapping race number 8, John is going with the 4. That horse is Classic Causeway, and Chad is going with Trademark, the number 1. Again, that's race 8. That is the Challenger Stakes race. Next week, we kind of take this might be one of our only week off for Derby preps for a little bit. There are a couple of grade 3s at Oaklawn, and there's some stakes races, not graded, but there are several stakes races at Gulfstream and Aqueduct. So
all right,
maybe those are good money races.
Absolutely. All right, guys, stay safe and be well, and we'll talk next week.
Thanks, John. Take care, Chad.
Thanks, guys.